Hello, this is Watch All About with another watch review, and in this review we're looking at the very latest offering from Brathwait. This is the Swiss-made automatic. Obviously, all of their watches don't have particularly exciting names, so it's pretty straightforward what you're getting. It's a Swiss-made automatic by Brathwait. Many of you know I've reviewed a few of their watches right from when they first released their very first watch, the Classic Slim, and I've always found that their quality for the price is really good. So let's see if it's the same for this watch. So let's talk about the price straight away. Obviously, it is a Swiss-made auto. Keep that in mind. $595, which equates to 460 GBP, Great British Pound. So immediately, it is obviously going to be the most expensive watch of their range, but it is completely Swiss-made with a decent movement in it. So we can understand that. Let's go through the specs then. So we have a diameter of 38 millimeters. We have a height of 10 mil, a lug-to-lug length of 45.5 mil. So just thinking about the size there, 38 mil for me in diameter is a really nice sweet spot for a smart classic dress watch, especially with a reasonably thin height of 10 mil as well. Fits really well with a suit, under a cuff of a shirt, or under a jumper, whatever. It still looks the part. It looks like a decent quality, decent sized watch. Gives you plenty of wrist presence, but it's not over the top. Like it's not in the 40s in diameter. Weight wise, we're at 80 grams, so quite a nice weight. You can find yourself wearing it easily. It doesn't give you any fatigue, for instance. A nice little a nice weight to it. We have a water resistance of 100 meters. We have just a push-pull crown, so we're never going to have anything too crazy high. So 100 meters, you could go swimming with it if you wanted to. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but you do have a measure of protection there. The movement they've used is the Sellita SW260-1. I've come across Sellita a number of times, most notably in a lot of Christopher Ward's. But Sellita used to do loads of work for ETA, so a lot of their watches are based on ETA movements, which have the copywriting of them has now expired. So it's basically free to use. So they make really nice equivalents of ETA movements at a slightly cheaper price. And they even make them on newer tooling machines. So the fact of the reality is, oftentimes they're actually slightly nicer made. They're better quality, which a number of watchmakers have told me about. So that's good to know. So the Sellita SW260-1 is basically the a slight modification to the clone of the ETA 2824, which is the Sellita SW200. This is obviously the 260. And the only thing that's different is that we have the seconds hand in the sub-dial at 6 rather than a central running seconds hand. Everything else is more or less exactly the same. So the regulation on that, I put it on my Lepsy watch scope, and this one in my hand is running at minus 2.8 seconds a day, which is really quite incredible. It's within COSC specs. So I don't know whether Brathwait have done a measure of regulating themselves, or whether it's just come like that. Either way, very impressive for a watch costing this much. So that's a really good thing to keep in mind. We have a 20 mil lug width, which tapers down to 18 mil at the buckle. So a nice decent size strap for the watch. And then this watch comes with a 1-year warranty. So that's all the specs we've discussed. Let's talk about each element in detail then. So first off with the dial, I personally really like the simplicity of it, but also the slight variation to what you'd normally see. Obviously, Brathwaite are known for doing minimalist style watches. In a sense of the word, this is quite minimalist because it's very clean, crisp, clear. But it's also very classy and a higher end. You get a higher end feel to it. I do like the Dauphine hands. This minute hand especially, stretching all the way out to the outside of the hour markers. That's a really nice touch. And then our slightly dumpy hour hand, which runs to the base of the hour markers. They're really nicely designed, made as well. And then our plain and simple seconds hand in that little sub dial, which is at slightly different, slightly lower level to the rest of the dial. Nice plain simple printing, Brathwait at the top, a running minute track around the outside, Swiss made at the base, and then just our again our little details for the running seconds hand. So very nice and crisp and clean and simple. Our date wheel, white to match the dial, so that's cool. A nice pleasant little surround to it as well, but we'll have a look at that with macro lens on in a little while. Applied hour markers are really nice as well. Got some good depth to them, so you can tell that they're decent quality. One thing you don't actually notice initially is that we have these tiny little loomed pips at the base of each hour marker as well. And the loom on the watch is really good. Really impressed by the strength of the loom. But it's nice that we have the inclusion of these, because it just keeps you in mind of it lets you know what the actual time is, because we have this double pip at 12. So in the dark it is actually really easy to tell the time, which is good. Okay, so moving on to the case. The case is completely polished, so you do have to be careful with hairline scratches, as is usually the case with completely polished watches, and be careful with smeary thumbprints. I'll have to clean all these up before we look at it in closer detail. But we have this single dome sapphire crystal sitting on top of the case as well. A very thin bezel, just about 1 millimeter wide all the way around. So a 38mm watch, and pretty much the majority of it is all dial. So it does create quite an impression. And just the fully polished case is really nice, nicely machined, nicely finished as well. Very good quality. So the shape of the case itself is traditional barrel shape, but we have pretty nice slender lugs. We have this little ridge at the top of the lugs as well, which is a nice way to split it up, so it's not just like one solid wedge of polished steel. So that's a nice simple way to split that up. Our crown, we have the Brathwait logo quite lightly engraved on that. I personally would have preferred that to be a little bit deeper and better quality, but again, we'll have a look at that in closer detail shortly. Moving on to the case back, it is screw in, but again quite simple and just nicely done in general. I'm going to give it quite a quick wipe, but we have the details engraved on the case back there, so nothing too exciting, but does the job, and it looks pretty nice as well. Moving on to the strap then. So as you can see, it says Brathwait premium leather, and let me tell you, it is very nice, very nice leather, really luxurious. So I'm not sure if you can see too well, but it's got like a really nice matte soft finish to it, and immediately straight out the box you can tell that it's really nice leather. So it's very supple, very easy to contour to the wrist, and really comfortable as well. So very impressed with the quality of the strap. The strap also, as you can see here, has quick release pins, which I love to see. So that just basically means you can take off the straps in probably about 3 seconds. So really nice and easy to use, so that's a good little point. We have a butterfly clasp, as you can see, if I shut it like so. We have the Brathwait logo along the top bar as well. That's nice and deeply engraved, and that's the underside there that will get on your wrist. I do find that I personally don't tend to get on with butterfly clasps as well as deployant clasps, mainly because the amount of steel that is sitting on your wrist does tend to dig in a little bit into the bottom of my wrist. So I don't find I can wear the watch for all day long simply because of the butterfly clasp. But if you're the type of person where you can do, then obviously that's fine. It's just me personally. Okay, so that's all of the points covered. Let's get the old macro lens on, and we'll have a look at it in even closer detail. So let's start with the dial. So you can see there, nice crisp printing on the logo. And if we come down here, Swiss made, very crisp. In addition to that, our print work on the subdial on a lower level, and our simple stick polished seconds hand as well. Very nicely done. Moving on to the hands, you can see there, nice shape, very elegant, loom filled. The loom is excellent strength as well. And then we can move on to our nice long hour markers with our cheeky little loom pip right at the base of it, as you can see there. Here's our date window with a nice simple border to it that's well executed. So there we go, that's the dial covered. Moving on to the case then, here's our crown. You can see there the logo is like really lightly engraved or laser etched. Would have been nicer to have seen it slightly deeper, engraved slightly better quality. If I just give the case a quick wipe on this side. It's always hard getting a decent shot on a highly polished case. So start off with a lug. And then as you can see, the polishing is very good. Very hard to get any decent shot on a case like this. But nice finishing and very good execution of the case as well. Moving on to the case back, let's give it another quick wipe. Again, we have laser etching by the looks of it, rather than like an engraving, so that would have been nice. But these are literally the only, this is really nitpicking. It's the only minor things I've really noticed in the entire watch. And then moving on to the leather strap. So here's the underside with that, with the logo stamped and Brathwait premium leather on the underside there. Moving on to the top side of the leather strap, you can see the nice soft top to it with the black stitching. Lovely quality. And then if I just close up the butterfly clasp, give that a quick wipe. There's the Brathwait logo, nice and deeply engraved on the top bar. And here's the side buttons of the butterfly clasp as well, and we have some nice pearlage on the central bit as well, so you can see there, very nice little finishing touches there. There we go. Okay, so yes, obviously it is the most expensive watch Brathwait have ever made, but rightly so. It's a Swiss-made automatic at the end of the day. But I'm really pleased to say that it is a very exquisitely made watch. Just shy of £500. I mean, you're looking easily on par with some Steinhardts and some Christopher Wards, also some Tissots and some Hamiltons maybe. But without a shadow of a doubt, the quality is there. It's exactly the same, if not, slightly overshadowing them. It's just a really well executed watch. The quality of it is nothing really wrong with it in any shape or form. The only thing, as I mentioned before, is it would be nice if the crown and the case back had engravings rather than laser etchings. That's just me being picky. Everything else about it is really nice. The look of it, the design of it, and obviously the execution of it, all very good. So for a Swiss-made automatic, £500 is it's very difficult to get a watch less than that. So this is really bang on point for the price. but it's also excellent in terms of quality. So very nice watch for the price. So yeah, really enjoy it, really like it. So this was the Brathwait Swiss made automatic, and that's what it's all about.